Hello friends, it's Kelly Pullum here, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! In Canada. I want to help you enjoy creativity through paper crafting so that you can wow your family and friends with your handmade projects. Tonight I've got two cards to share with you using the Queen Bee bundle from Stampin' Up! This is the last in a series of videos that I've had throughout the month featuring the Queen Bee bundle, and I think that if you've been watching them, you will agree with me that it's a beautiful bundle and has a lot of versatility in the things that you can create with it. I also want to go over a few things, upcoming events that are happening. I've been working on my schedule through the end of March. So if you've got a pencil handy, you might want to jot down some dates. Left in January, I have a crop this Sunday afternoon, January 29th. It's in my home and the cost is $10. I'm in Brantford, Ontario, and you do need to pre-register for that. I also want to mention February, I'm checking to do them in order. So February 18th, I'm going to have a crop at my home. That's a Saturday. It will run from 10 until 4. There will be a light lunch provided, and the cost for that day is $20. Then February 23rd, I have a card class. It'll be a tea party theme. We'll make 2 cards, and it will be $8. On March 23rd, I'll have a class here in my home, and that will be an Easter themed card class, and the cost is $8. And then March 26th, I'll have a crop, and the cost of that is $10. And I think that's all of the upcoming events. My next order goes in January 28th or 29th, so please do let me know if you have anything that you want to put in on that order. And, oh yes, I want to make sure to tell you about next month's class, or next week's class. But before I do that, I'm going to flip over the camera so that you can actually see the cards that I'm going to be working on. And then I want to talk about what product I'm going to feature next month. So let me just find here. I'm going to switch over to the desktop view. Okay. So these are the cards that I'm going to be demonstrating next week for the Love Cats card class. I have 2 extra kits for this class, so if you would like to order one, it's not too late. You can get the kit free if you make a $60 purchase in my online store that includes the Love Cats stamp set. To do the cards, you need the Love Cats stamp set, Memento Tuxedo Black ink, Blushing Bride ink, and Real Red ink. So those are the things that you need. Anyway, so this is one of the cards we're going to make. And here, a little Valentine's card. Another Valentine. This one could be Valentine or just a card for someone that you care about. This one is a little fun fold with an easel, absolutely adorable. And then another little Valentine card. So I think these Valentines could be given to friends or to, family, grandchildren, whatever. It doesn't have to be a sweetheart, but a lot of great cards. And if you choose to substitute sentiments that you have at your home, you could turn them into birthday cards or whatever for a cat lover in your circle of friends or whatever the case might be. So again, there's lots of opportunity to switch it up and make it perfect for you. Okay, so that is that. Now, while I am talking tonight, before tomorrow morning, I would like you to help me decide for next month's featured product. I'm freezing. Let me just see here what's going on. There, I think I'm okay now. At least on my screen I am. So for next month's product, should I feature Friendly Gnomes? Oh, frozen again. There we are. This is a real problem for me lately. Hopefully it won't continue to be. So Friendly Gnomes or Beautifully Happy for next month's featured product. And frozen again. There, back again. I don't know why this happens. Okay, I'm hoping it's not going to drive us too crazy. So, if you are watching the video anytime before tomorrow, leave me a note and say which product you would like to see me demonstrate next month. Either the Friendly Gnomes or Beautifully Happy. Friendly Gnomes is available for purchase in the mini catalog. Beautifully Happy is a celebration item that you can earn with a $120 order. You get this stamp set free. So this one is a purchase, this one comes free, but it has to have a $120 order. So what do you think? Let me know. All right, and tonight I am using the Queen Bee bundle. So I've got the stamp set and the dies, and they are a great set of products. I have been loving using them. The little label is great. I love the greenery that comes with it, the bees, the honeycomb, so many flowers, so many great things in here. And so tonight I was going to do just one card, but I couldn't resist. I'm going to do two tonight. Hi Nancy, welcome. So glad you're here. I'm also going to use tonight these Dandy Designs Designer Series paper. There are 12 patterns. I'm going to try and spread it out here, and my fingers aren't cooperating with me. They're beautiful, bright, geometric patterns that are just so lovely and easy to work with. They coordinate so beautifully. And then another set on the back. So just all kinds of variety here in beautiful spring colors. And this product is also available free during celebration while supplies last, or until the end of February, whichever comes first. And that's free with a $120 order as well. So great stuff available right now. Celebration is a great time with Stampin' Up! If you make a purchase from any of their catalogs, any current catalog, if you make a purchase of $60 or $120, you can earn a free stamp set or free paper. And that's an awesome deal. I'm going to shift my chair over a little bit here now, and hopefully the camera will still pick me up okay there. All right. Now, which card shall I do first? I think I'm going to do this one first. Okay. So I've got a bunch of little pieces here ready in advance. I cut out some little honeycombs, and I cut out a little wee heart, which I don't want to lose before I need it. This is my card base. This is Granny Apple Green, and it's cut in kind of the standard way. I'm looking for my bone folder and not finding it. It's hiding. I'll just use a block. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And this is what I do when I can't find my bone folder. Just use an acrylic block. I'm a versatile kind of girl. This is, oh, another little heart here. I gotta watch out I don't lose. This is another piece of Granny Apple Green, which I have embossed with the timeless, time-worn type. Time-worn type. I just thought it suited this stamp set. You'll notice on here there are words at the front that relate to the bee, and this one has some words on it too. I'm not gonna take the time to read them, but I think it will work just fine. And so I'm going to put some adhesive here on the back. Okay. Oh, now I am out of the camera. Oh no, you can still see me there. That's good. I'm a little out of the camera's range. Nancy, hopefully I'm not freezing too much. I was having trouble a few minutes ago with, oh, there it goes again. I do not know why it's doing that. It drives me a little nutso. Okay, so there is my background for this card. A little bit of extra glue there. Just rub it away. That's what jeans are for, isn't it? Okay, now I am going to do some stamping here. I'm going to stamp some flowers and a bee, and I'm going to stamp the queen on here, and I'm going to stamp a crown as well, and I think that's it for the outside. Do you know what? I forgot to cut a piece for the inside of the card, which means yet again I have to run and grab. Here we go again. There we are. Okay, okay, you're keeping up with me, Nancy. That's good. I'm going to run and grab some white cardstock. Because I forgot to cut the piece for inside, but I'll do that in a minute. My hair's getting so long here today, I'm sitting on it. All right. So I'm going to start off with my, I'm going to use the memento actually for this. So I'm going to start off with my queen bee. It's a pretty big stamp actually, so I found, oh Nancy, you don't mind. Thank you for that. I'm going to use this large block. This I think is block E. So it's pretty big, but it works well for this one. I'm also going to use, of course, the word queen here. So I need that one. And I'm going to use the crown on a little one. And I'm going to have to switch this one up with the bee because I forgot to bring my long one. I'm not going to run and get it. Okay, so my memento ink here. I'm going to start with the bee. And I love that this bee can be stamped in a color and just left, or you can stamp it in the memento and then add color afterwards. So I'm going to put this one on here on an angle, like so. There we go. Then I'm going to stamp queen on here. Here we go. I'm excited about the snow tomorrow, which sounds ridiculous, but I'm excited because I switched up my days. I went to see Dad today, and that means tomorrow when it's snowing, I get to stay home all day and play in the craft room. And that just seems like a fun time to me. So let's see if I got this straight. I have had a little trouble with this. Yay! Okay, it's a little low, but it's straight, so I'm going to count that as a win. Alrighty. Now I'm going to do, it is bizarre, this freezing and then unfreezing. I just seem to touch the side of my phone and it unfreezes, which makes me think maybe it really is my phone that's the problem. There we go. All right, and now, okay, this is the piece I'm going to do. I need my chamois. Here we are. You're teaching from home tomorrow, Nancy. That's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear it. I was wondering about that today, thinking about whether you would have to be driving. Okay, so here we go. And this is going to go on here. Hold my mouth just right. And hopefully I've got that on straight. There we go. Do say hello if you're watching. I love to know who's here. It's always nice to have an idea who's enjoying the video. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to take these little pieces and I'm going to do a little bit of coloring, not a ton. I'm going to just do on the flowers here, I'm going to just color the centers with Daffodil Delight Dark. Okay, so just the centers. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the flowers on the bee. So just the centers. So you can't really call this coloring. I'm just dabbing a few dots of color on here. I think that does it. I'm looking at my sample to see if I got all the spots. So now I'm going to take my, oh, I didn't do this the right color. I made a boo-boo. I was supposed to do this one in green. So I think I'm going to color it yellow. Since I didn't do it in green, I'm going to just do a variation on a theme here. We're going to just turn this into yellow instead of, we'll pretend this is gold. There we are. Oh, these are tight today. So now I'm going to color my leaves here. So this is Granny Apple Green Light. Okay. And I'm just adding color to the leaves. I'm going to leave the background as it is. I'm going to leave the petals as they are. Just coloring leaves and the center of the flowers. And I think it gives it just enough definition to kind of pop there. And then the same on this side. You do have to take your time a little bit to distinguish from all of the patterns here because there's dots and lines and whatnot, trying to figure out what is leaf, what is background, and so on. There. I think that's got it. And then there's a few pieces down here that look like leaves. There, one there, one there, and I think that's it. Okay, now I'm going to do the same sort of thing on here. On this one, just going to add a little bit of color to the leaves just to give it a little pop. And this takes nowhere near as much time as some of the coloring you might do, but I think it really adds to the card. And one of the things when you do coloring this way, you don't have to have all of the colors at once, right? So I'm just using 2 colors today, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green. So if you were going to make some cards, you know, with a certain designer series paper, you can just kind of plan, pick a couple colors that coordinate with it, or if you're using a certain kind of stamp set, just pick a couple colors that you like, and then you can work with those. And you don't have to color everything, and you don't have to have every color under the rainbow in order to make it work. So there we go. So now I'm going to set this aside. And bring in my mini boss. Now right now Stampin' Up! Has a fantastic deal on for people who join Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator. But even if you don't want to stay a demonstrator, you just want a really good deal on products. For $175, excuse me, $175, you can get a mini boss and $225 worth of product. So there we go. Okay, so the mini boss is worth $86, I think, on its own. So if you add that to the $225 worth of product, that's like $305 worth of product. Plus you don't pay shipping, you only pay tax, and you only pay tax on the $175 that you're actually paying. So that is a tremendous savings. It is really a wonderful bargain that you can get right now. And while Celebration is on, this deal is on until the end of February, and while Celebration is on, you can also get free Celebration items. So with your $175 order, you would get, I think you would get 2 extra Celebration items, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, but I think that's the deal. So anyway, with or without Celebration items, it is a fantastic deal. So I'm going to just wiggle my dies out here. And here we go. So I'm going to start with this one. Get a little washi tape out here. There we go. Line this up. So I'm lining up the bottom so that I can see the bottom of the 2 stems, and then working on the top, trying to get it so that it's kind of even all the way around. And it's hard with the camera. I can't tell perfectly about the angles, but that's my best shot at it. So there we go. And just feed this through. And there's our little stem of flowers. Gently remove that washi tape. Then I'm going to pull in the bee. We need to cut it out. Get this one lined up. There we go. There we are. So pretty. Now I need my crown. this back out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to pull this in, and I do have one more thing I want to do on this. I'm going to bring in my Granny Apple Green ink and just clean this off so I can use that one. I am going to use the little dots here for some texture on here. I'm just going to add a little bit up here and a little bit down here, and I think that just kind of helps to tie everything in together here. And I've just realized I left my bling. My goodness, I couldn't get everything together here to save my soul. Okay, that's all right, we will get through this. So put this here. I'm going to pull in my flower. It's going on with some dimensionals. There we go. And then underneath here, I'm going to tuck a couple of these guys. I think I'm going to need, I've got room there. Yes, I'm going to need to use some glue dots, I think, to make them go where I want. So I'm going to put that up here. I'm going to use a little glue dot. Here. So I'm going to tuck one under here. Just stick that glue dot in there, and then I can just tuck this in like so underneath. Then I'm going to do another one over here under this flower, and I can just tuck this underneath. And then I'm going to do one down here behind the bee. So I'm going to put the bee on next, and the bee is going to go on. First of all, I've got this little green bit, and I happened to have a little bit of green cardstock that already had the adhesive sheet on the back of it. So I die cut it from that little bit, so this little heart can just go right on top of my bee like so. I'm going to put a little line of glue in the center here. Actually, I got more than a little line. And I'm going to put dimensionals on either side. So under each wing. And then this is going to come in, and this wing is going to be over top of here. And this is coming up on this side. And the center is down. So it really does give my bee some dimension there. Now I'm going to pull out my, I think I got this one in too far. I'm going to pull it out and up, I think, here. There. This one is up a little too high. I'm going to tuck it down a little lower. There we go. That's better. All right. Now this little guy is going to go under my little bee's backside. There. I'll just let that get in there. Then I'm going to put this on dimensionals as well. And this is going to just tuck in here. So underneath my bee, over the flower, there, like so. Now, I do have some, I'm going to get them. I'm going to take the minute and get them. One of the neat things with Stampin' Up! Is our colors, sometimes the tones really work together. So these embellishments are actually Parakeet Party, but they're pretty close to Granny Apple Green. But if you don't feel they're close enough, of course, you can just add a little Granny Apple on top. And these are going to go on here. But before I do that, I want to stick my crown on here. I'm going to put it down flat. I could have used a glue dot, I suppose. Get my tweezers if I could find them, but there they are. Get some of the extra glue off of there. So the crown is just going to go right there with my little bee. I meant to stamp that in green and forgot, so I did it in Daffodil Delight. So there you have it. Sometimes you have to improvise. And here's my little Granny Apple gem. One for each end. And there we go. Now, inside the card, I am going to do, I'm actually going to do some handwriting, which might shock people, but I want to have Queen for a Day. And we don't have a sentiment that says Queen for a Day. So I'm going to write in here. So here's my card insert, 4 by 5 1/4, like so. And then inside the card, I'm going to start by stamping birthday. So I'm going to take this and clean this off. And I'm going to stamp birthday in Memento. Don't want that little heart there. Okay. Now this is kind of a funny way to do a sentiment because I'm working from the bottom up. Okay, so here I have birthday. There goes my screen again. Okay, now I'm going to go to Happy, and it's going to be done on a 3/8 of an inch strip, which I have here. I think maybe I need a 1/2 inch strip. Let me just check. I think it will work. Yep, 3/8 of an inch is just enough. So I need Happy. And then the happy is going to be done in the green. And this is going to be tricky. So what I'm going to do, because it's so small, I'm going to line this up here with my acrylic block. Tucked in there, and I'm going to stamp first on the paper. And we'll see how that goes directionally. There, so that's on a slant. But what I can do now with my paper, I'm going to cover that with my paper, and I'm going to come back in and try to do exactly what I did before. Kind of, sort of. Let's see how I did. Yes! Yes, that worked. Lovely. Okay. So I'm going to just snip here now. So this is going to go above here. And then, is this a black pen? Nope, I need black. Okay. So up above where the happy is going to go, so I'm going to kind of estimate here. And then I'm going to just handwrite for a day. And then in here, we're going to put our happy birthday. And I'm even going to just do that. Okay, so now I'm going to take some mini dimensionals again. Nobody said you can't do some handwriting in your card, right? Why can't you? It kind of reminded me when I was scrapbooking. They used to say you really should handwrite your journaling. It represents you and kind of where you're at and the stage in life you're at and everything, so why not? So there we go. Now this is going inside the card. And there we are. So that is card number 1. Now for card number 2, I have, this is going to be a vertical card, and I got to pull out some little pieces here, and I seem to have lost one of my bits of greenery. Wouldn't you know? Got this. Oh, there it is. I found it. Good. Okay. So for this card, we're going to put this on our card front. So again, I'll just use a block to fold. Put this on. This is definitely taking longer than I imagined. I thought I would have finished both of these by now, but it just goes to show you time flies when you're having fun. So there we are. So I'm going to put these on to sort of make a wreath. It's going to have an upper and a lower edge here. Okay. I'm going to start off, excuse me, sorry about that. I'm going to start off with a glue dot here at the top and stick this down right there. And I'm going to have a flower over top of it, so I am not at all worried that some of that glue dot is showing. I'm going to repeat. I didn't get it perfectly straight though. I'd like it to be a little straighter. There we go. Then I'm going to do another one down here at the bottom. And I'm going to leave a little gap there. Again, all perfectly fine. So here we go. And here we go. Okay, now I'm going to stamp a bee again and some flowers. So I'm going to use this same paper and pull this in. And I've got some more scraps here to stamp my flowers. There's 1, 2, 3, and I think I need one more. I do. 4. Okay. Get that cleaned off, but it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, now my little queen bee is going to come back and she's going to go on here. This time I'm just doing solid granny apple green. And I know you've probably never seen a green bee. I haven't seen a green bee either. But realism is overrated. There we go. So this is going on here. Voila. Now I may as well carry on with my stamping. So I'm going to stamp for the inside of my card. And I don't think I cut a piece for that yet, so I'm going to have to find that white cardstock again. Here we go. So this will be another standard insert, 4 by 5 1/4. Nancy, I did ask people at the beginning to vote for whether they are interested in seeing next month Beautifully Happy, which is a celebration item, or whether they would rather see Friendly Gnomes, which is a mini catalog item. So I'd like to know what people's preference would be. So if you could cast a vote, and then maybe other people, if they're watching later, will do the same thing. And I can decide what I'm going to do for next month's videos. So I'm going to bring my little bee in here. Line this up again. And if I could just find the bee die, I would be all set. But it's missing in action here. There's my flower. And I have everything here but the bee. I need this little flower die that's hanging out in the bottom of this envelope too. There we go, let's pull it out. Here it is. I found my lady. Here she is. You would pick the gnomes, although either would be great. Okay, that's awesome. Hopefully we'll get some more people to vote, or it's going to be just what you chose. Okay. There. Here's my top plate. Feed that through. There we are. Now I need my little flowers. So this is going to take a few goes through here. Unfortunately, I should have thought of this ahead of time. If I'd known how late I would be doing this, I would have, for sure. There we go. Okay. There. There we are. I did manage to cut one of these flowers the wrong way one time. There's not a big difference between the size of the petals or whatever, so it's easy to get a little mixed up here. There, that's two. Whoops. There we are, back again. Another one. I have one more somewhere. There it is. Okay, let's get this out of the way again. Now, as I did before, I'm going to just take these flowers and do just a tiny bit of coloring. So for these, what I did, oops, wrong end. Somebody's mangled the brush tip on this guy, so I'm just going to do a little bit here. There, there. I think I used the light before to pull that out instead of the instead of the dark, but this time I have what I have. So I'm going to just come in here with a little bit of Wink of Stella, try and blend that out a little bit. And here we go. Pull that out a bit. There we go. And here is our bee. And she's going to have a little white heart on her this time, and I don't have adhesive backing on this one, so I have to use a little glue dot. And here we go. Just make that pop up a little bit. So now here is my wreath. So I'm going to take this, and again I'm going to put some adhesive down in the center, and I'm going to put dimensionals under the wings. Hi Catherine, welcome. Glad you joined us. We're having a little vote tonight on whether we would like to see videos next month featuring friendly gnomes or beautifully happy, if you'd like to weigh in. So here we go. This little bee is going to go on here like so. And so you can see why I'm not worried about the edge, whether it's, you know, fastened down or tucked down or whatever, because it's all going to kind of come together here. I'm going to use dimensionals under these little flowers as well. One up here. One over here. And this is loose, but that's still okay because something's going to be there as well. And this one down here. And now I'm going to just take that strip of 3/8 of an inch basic white that I had before. And I'm going to use this little Beloved. So again, I'm going to just stamp, whoop, I didn't get that too inky. Stamp here, kind of cover it up, and then try again. Perfect. Okay. Now this time I'm going to angle on this side like so. And this side is going to stay straight. And I'm going to put dimensionals on the back here. And that is what's going to help hold this edge down. Oops, I didn't cut that straight. Let's see if I can do any better. So this is going to come down over here to this edge. Just help hold that side in. And one more thing to go. A little bit of ribbon, and then I need to do the inside, of course. So one more bit of ribbon. Here we go. This is Parakeet Party, not Granny Apple Green, but hey, it's all good. I think it looks nice. I'm going to use a little glue dot. The two colors are close enough that it just works. So a little glue dot on here, and then my little bow is going to go underneath the heart there. Maybe I should have had it just a little closer to the heart. There we are. And we'll just pull this down like so. All right. Now I am going to, it's late, so I'm not going to show you this. I've shown you before, but I am going to add to the envelope some designer series paper, but I do need to do the inside stamping here. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this stamp, which, it's funny, this is one of the reasons I bought this stamp set, this little piece here. And then it's the one I've used the least in my videos. So I might have to just keep making cards with this set so that I can use this stamps more. So I'm going to just take this, I'm going to use my memento, but I'm going to stamp off. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up, I'm going to stamp here, and then I'm going to stamp here. And voila, love it. So now I'm going to get my little flower that I have left here, and I'm going to get the little bee. So I'm going to put this, it's going to go on a dimensional, but I don't need to put the dimensional on there yet because I want to stamp my bee first, my little bee. So we get rid of that. And I pull out this sweet little bee. Here it is. And this is going to hover just above the flower. There. And I rarely raise anything up inside a card, but I think this works. And because it's foam, it's not like a gem inside your card. It'll squish down, right? So that is not a problem. There we go. Get that going. And then this inside. So Catherine, next week I'm having a Love Cats class. I'm demonstrating 6 cards. So it's going to be a long evening, starting at 7:30 Eastern Time. Oh, I forgot to put this on here, didn't I? Oh my goodness. Do I like it better with or without the vellum? This is the one I did with the vellum. What do you think, ladies? Do I take that off and put the vellum on, or do I just leave it without? Maybe you can't tell much difference online. I think I might just leave it, but anyway, there you go. So that is that card. Here's the other card that we made tonight. 2 cards with the queen bee, and I am just loving this set. Nancy, you like it with the vellum. Okay, that being said, I will add it then, just for you. So I'll lift this up. I'll get my vellum. Now I've set it down and I don't see it. Here it is. I just need another glue dot on there. Put the vellum wings on. And then put that little heart back in place. There we go. And all is well in the world. Thank you for being with me tonight and watching. Do let me know next month. Do I feature Friendly Gnomes or Beautifully Happy? I need to know quickly because I've got to get designing. So give me your vote and I will see what I can do. So take care, friends. Thanks so much for sticking with me tonight, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Take care, and I hope to see you next week at 7:30 Eastern Time. Take care. Good night now.